Is Melbourne poised to become the nation's strongest property market? Hello and welcome to Clearance Rate, a full wrap of the nation's property markets and our final episode for the year. And what a year it has been. Sydney looks to have finally peaked, Melbourne has overtaken it as the strongest performing market in the country, and Perth is fast approaching the bottom of its downward cycle. Auction numbers were down on the weekend as the market limps into the festive period, but Sydney was at least able to reclaim second place behind Melbourne for clearance rates. Now, I'm joined by Sunday Telegraph reporter Melissa Cahias. And Mel, there are around 500 less auctions than this weekend last year in Sydney, but yet only a 55.2% clearance rate. Are we definitely seeing the slowdown period now?
It definitely looks like it. What can you expect? It is the end of the year and we do only have one last auction weekend to go. So it'll be interesting to see how that one goes, but again, so close to Christmas, what else did we expect?
Okay, and looking how it played out around the rest of the nation, Melbourne at the top there at 65.7%. What else was happening?
In Sydney, we saw a clearance rate of 55.2%. With only 869 auctions, as we said, it was lower than last year. So it's quite interesting to see that it still came in second on the clearance rate board, I suppose. But yeah, at the end of the day, Perth was down at 40% with only 58 auctions.
Yeah, look, not too flash for Perth. Only 58 auctions to choose from and only able to clear 40%. What does this mean for some of the medians around the country?
Well, Sydney stayed quite consistent at 908,000. Melbourne was 630,000, and it had 4,252 private treaty sales.
That's busy.
Yeah, it's quite a busy one. At the bottom was Adelaide. It had 921 private treaty sales, and it has a median price of 435,000.
Well, it's good when you're coming from some of those eastern states, seeing such a low median for houses. It seems like days of the past. For the rest of us. And looking at apartment medians, and Sydney still well above the house medians and the other markets, but Adelaide, a little bit of value there.
Yeah, definitely at 312,000. That's definitely a price that a first home owner could possibly get into.
Okay, good. And looking at towards next year, we have seen now Melbourne starting to emerge as far as value changes go. Not too far behind Sydney now after another negative week for Sydney.
Yeah, it was one of the only ones that saw a positive weekly change other than Perth, which saw 1.2%, which was also quite good. But yes, unfortunately, Sydney did see a little bit of a drop, but that doesn't mean anything for next year.
And the other markets going quiet into Christmas there, just going flat. They've had enough, I think. Here we are again at their favourite time of the week. And this was a pretty interesting auction on the weekend that you're looking at now. Yeah,
that's exactly right. So it was a development in Greenacre called Eden that was released exclusively to first home buyers. 191 apartments and townhouses were released within 2 buildings out of a total of 5. For the first hour, it was open to first home buyers, and about half of the properties that were on offer sold, and now anyone is now able to go in there and try and pick something up.
Okay, so that's a great initiative for first home buyers, but really only half selling. Maybe we're underestimating how much demand there is penned up there.
You know, there are a lot of developments now on the market, and as we are slowing down, it will be interesting to see what happens next year and if people still have that hunger for off the plan developments.
Okay, great. Well, happy holidays everyone, and we'll see you again next year for Clearance Rate.